Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Rui, and in this video I'm going to be talking about dynamic alarm thresholds for your alarm templates. This here is the Zine DataMiner system. And in this demo we're going to be working with this element, which is representative of a Microsoft server. As you can see, it's full on being monitored. This is because there is an alarm template assigned to it. This is what it looks like. And an alarm template contains all alarm thresholds for all metrics defined in this particular device's connector, in this case the Microsoft platform. These are merely the metrics that are currently being monitored, and as you can see, they're working with fixed values. But it is also possible to assign dynamic thresholds, alarm threshold values, meaning that these threshold values will depend on whatever it is considered to be the normal value for this metric, in this case for the total processor load. To this normal value, we call it baseline. To do so, we can change the monitoring type to relative. And then we can say that if the total processor load goes 50% above the normal value, will generate a warning high alarm. If it duplicates the normal value, a major high. If it's 3 times over the normal value, critical high. The absolute monitoring type is the same, with the exception that it does not work with percentages, it works with whatever inherent units is associated with the metric. Now, for the total processor load, that doesn't really make a difference because its unit is already a percentage. But it would make a difference in memory usage, for example, in which case you'd have to use kilobytes instead of percentages while using the absolute type. So we're just going to stick with relative using percentages for the total processor load. Now all that's left is deciding what the normal value for the total processor load is, its baseline value. To do so, double click on it and you can set it manually up here, pretending for example that 25% is an acceptable normal value for the total processor load. Alternatively, you could let DataMiner automatically calculate and assign the baseline value for you. When doing so, you will be presented with two options. For metrics that are expected to undertake a daily pattern, and for metrics that are not expected to follow any pattern. So for total processor load, we do not necessarily expect it to follow a daily pattern, but it very easily could in case you had high CPU intensive tasks scheduled to run daily or periodically. That is not the case here, so we'll stick with the first option. After applying the alarm template and going back to the total processor load, we can see that DataMiner already automatically calculated the baseline value for this metric and is sitting currently on 27%. Baseline values are updated periodically, and when that happens, the corresponding alarm thresholds and their severities will also be accordingly updated, as visible from the y-axis right here. Now, this is a different example. A different device, a content management server more specifically, and we're looking at its cache utilization. And this very much undertakes a daily pattern. So if we take a look at its alarm template, you can see that I selected the second option. So that DataMiner expects to find a daily pattern to be able to detect anomalies or divergences from that pattern when it happens. So in this case, I set for DataMiner to take the last 30 days into account while calculating the baseline values over each point in time on that day, and to skip the last 72 hours. This is because, as you can see, there have been some shenanigans going on recently with the cache utilization, and we do not want DataMiner to take these portions into account because we risk corrupting our baseline value. Now, the baseline value will be different for every hour in the day. And when it does, the alarm thresholds and corresponding severities will also be accordingly adjusted in function of that baseline value. So I hope this helps shed some light on dynamic alarm thresholds for your alarm templates. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one.